I'm a fishy! Hello, it's Yasmin, and this is another edition of Class95's Foodie's Choice, and this week I'm so excited. We found Best Fish and Chips based on the nominations and votes by our listeners. Now, it takes us here to Tanjong Pagar Plaza. Now, where it's located, I'm told, is at Block 8 facing Craig Road. So let's go look for it. Come on. Ta-da! Lad and Dad! So with me, I've got the owner of Lad and Dad. Hello, Keith.
Hi.
Okay, so I'm presuming that the name of your stall, Lad and Dad, you're the lad?
Yes.
And your dad's involved in this as well?
Yeah, just in the back end.
So tell us the history of Lad and Dad.
So this idea came about when I was studying in the UK, and I wanted to come back and do something. So I proposed to my dad to do this, and he wanted me to actually use the cert and get a proper job instead.
Yeah, of course, right?
So I told him, okay, how about I get you involved, and then you can monitor the progress, and then we see how this goes.
Let me guess, he gave you the investment startup for your first stall.
I actually used all the money I saved while working in the UK. It was supposed to be for a grad trip.
We like that entrepreneurial young man. Okay, so then where did you start and how did you start?
Back in 2015 at Serangoon Gardens Food Centre, we started only with 2 dishes, beef stew and mutton stew.
Oh.
Yes, we wanted to reach a wider target audience, so we moved to Maxwell Food Centre. We wanted to basically offer more options. We added bangers and mash, bacon and chipati, which is a British sandwich. Before we moved out of Maxwell Food Centre, we actually came up with fish and chips.
From what you're telling me, all your dishes are very, very British-centric. Is there a reason why?
Because I spent quite some time there, and I also felt that the perception of British cuisine around the world is not very good. But I had some good ones over there, and I felt that, with a bit of twist, I could bring it back and then actually introduce this to Singaporeans.
Then what happened after that?
We wanted to basically give the full experience with the beers and basically our own drinks. We found a spot pretty close by in Tanjong Pagar, and then basically offered a more, I would say, wholesome menu.
So technically now you have 2 outlets, one at Maxwell Food Centre and one here at Tanjong Pagar.
Maxwell has closed because of COVID, but we are opening a new outlet in Tanglin area. It will be ready, I think, in December.
Right, December of 2021. Okay, so we're here for the fish and chips. What makes it so good?
This fish and chips recipe actually took us quite a while, up to a year. In the UK, most of the fish and chips are more bland, not as tasty, because you need to douse with a salt and vinegar. They do a lot of takeaway, so most of the fish and chips, after you bring it home, it's soggy, and they are actually okay with that. In Singapore, we prefer crispy, we prefer something more tasty. So this is our version, our British-inspired version, to suit the local palates. For the fish, we use Atlantic haddock because it's sweet, it's firm, and it doesn't have that fishy taste. It's actually coated in a beer batter before we fry, so it's crispy and tasty. For chips, we use American potatoes, and it's coated and thick cut. For our peas, we use garden peas from New Zealand. So these peas are slightly sweeter. Peas are homemade, tartar sauce are homemade as well. We basically have chunks of gherkin in there.
So you've gone the tartar sauce way, which is actually very Singaporean, but the British way would be to eat it with vinegar. Yes,
so the British way, usually they have tartar sauce, but not as popular as the malt vinegar and salt. So we also have the option, if you like it that way.
I've seen the pictures on the internet and it looks really good, so I think it's time for some fish and chips. What do you think?
Let's go.
Ta-da! Fish and chippies! Hello, fish and chips. Ooh, let's look at that. Did you hear that? It sounds so crispy. Okay, let's start with the fish, obviously. Look at that. That fish looks amazing. The fish looks proper flaky, in a good way. So let's eat it without the sauce first. It's really crispy, it is not oily at all, and the fish has good flavor. I like that the batter is really light as well. It doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't stick to the fish either, which is brilliant. Look at that. That's how it should be. Let's try the homemade tartar sauce. I can actually taste the gherkins in there. Now for the peas. So I'm not a big fan of peas. I like how they didn't mash all the peas, so you can actually see there's some textures. Wow! I could roll with these peas. Get it? Roll with the peas. All right, now for the chips. Nice and crispy, fluffy potato on the inside. Well, congratulations, Keith. Our listeners have nominated and voted Lad and Dad at Tanjong Pagar Plaza for Best Fish and Chips.
Thank you.
Get the best mix of music by downloading the refreshed Me Listen app.